Hello everyone, my name is Dmitry Anoshan, and today I decided to start the new initiatives to combine two things I really like. One of them, I really like to browse the jobs markets, not the local market. For example, I'm based in Vancouver, BC. I know this market really well for many years, and I know the market like across the Canada, in States, but I really like to check what is there in the world globally, like in different countries, and in particular, what tool stack they're using, what technology, what's the requirements, is it different from like North America, Europe, uh, Asia Pacific, also what's about their salaries and demand for the jobs, and based on the salary, because myself is immigrant moving from Russia to Montenegro, then from Montenegro to Canada, and living in a couple provinces, living in States, and then back in Canada. All of these give me idea that it's not that easy, and we often like just lack of information how much money you need, like what's your bare minimum salary you can consider then moving to the country and will be enough, for example, to take the mortgage. Because for myself with 3 kids, my wife, she doesn't work. For us, it's important to have our own property, but without knowing and understanding what's the cost of the living and cost of real estate and many other factors, like you just don't know. So, and this is my new podcast or like show or vlog. They will first talking about the different data jobs, requirements, the tools, just reviewing the job descriptions on LinkedIn. And I decided to take one country at a time. And I will combine this with cider tasting, because it's another thing that I recently start loving, trying different craft ciders. And today is my last days on Fiji. It was really great vacation, by the way, really good destination from North America. And you might consider these for family vacation or with kids, without kids, people friendly. And because traditional destination for like Canada and North America is Hawaii or Mexico. Probably everyone visits many times, but Fiji is very nice. And today I already trying Isaac Cider. This is the only choice I have in hotel, so whatever we go, quite good cider. I tried to find their website. I wasn't able. Accidentally, I found the one website that has exact same name, Isaac Cider, based in UK, but obviously it's something different. Anyway, the cider is good, and we'll start from exploring the job market of New Zealand for data analyst and BI developer roles, see what technology they use. Then we go to data engineers roles, and after this we will explore how much the house cost. And I also have the website for the tax calculator, so we can see how much money you will get net based on the offering, what they offer in New Zealand, and think like, is it enough to buy the property or not? Anyway, let's start from data analyst jobs based on the New Zealand and what we have here. For example, one company, Vision Consulting, the first thing we can see on site. Another one, Ministry of Business, it's government, they are obviously also on site. This quite good. Honestly, I like this job description. Very clear. Yeah, it's contract, and contract is not bad idea because you can create your own incorporation, work as a contract, and you have lots of tax optimizations rooms. But anyway, what they have, the SQL, Power BI, and Snowflake. Looks like it's maybe just it's company who provide the people who hire people, and they're like middlemen. They obviously will introduce you to the customer or their client. They will charge them, for example, $100 an hour, and they will pay you like $50 an hour. But it depends. It depends on the agency. For example, in Canada, there are lots of agency that they consider like scam agency because they're not fair. They asking for like senior data engineer, for lead data engineer, and expecting you have like top skills for Databricks, Snowflake, and they paying you like $45 an hour and like 2 months delay with payment. So it's obviously scam. And Canada is very different with like how many people coming every year for immigration in Canada. They're just desperate to get the job, and usually they okay at least something. But this is unfair, and hopefully with this, like I can educate people like what's fair, what's unfair. But here, at least I like that there is no bullshit here. Very clear SQL, Power BI, and it's obviously they're using Power BI on top of Snowflake. So right now, in North America, 100% it's either Snowflake or Databricks, of course, the cloud computing skills. So, but today we'll find out what's important for New Zealand. Another job, Ministry of Business, Innovation and Employment. What they have here. Yeah, there are usually lots of informations here, but for you, it's only important the salary range, 88,000, not that much. And I have the tax calculator. We can quickly check how much money you get a month. Maybe it doesn't like the comma. So a month you get 5,500. Maybe it's the decent amount to, for example, just move to the country, and it would be good enough to pay your rent. Honestly, I don't know the rent. I don't want to check rent price as well. I will check the houses market. Okay, not bad, 5,000. And the skills they're looking is again Power BI. Looks like the Power BI is popular there. The SQL, of course, like all those roles with data, they require SQL, just must have SQL. And it doesn't matter what they put here in terms of your expectations, because if it's analyst role, if you work with data, you expect you will be able to collaborate with stakeholders, understand the business requirements, understand a bit of business domain, and this is the words that you need to communicate with hiring manager and recruiters to prove and show them that you can deliver this kind of value. Next job is also on site, and maybe it's downside of New Zealand. They want you commute from suburb because obviously live close to the downtown it's expensive, and also most of the jobs in Auckland, obviously the government jobs in capital in Wellington. But here they put some Microsoft Azure stack like Azure Synapse, obviously Fabric, T-SQL. Maybe they do some kind migrations from on-premise Microsoft SQL Server to Azure, the Power BI as well. So there's good things happening here. And if Azure Data Factory, by the way, we just released our second edition of Azure Data Factory book with Synapse Analytics and the Microsoft Fabric and everything related to Azure platform. Even ETL, ELT. So that's interesting. Like it's data engineer slash analyst. It's like generalist job. And for me, it's good sign because if you can get this job, they will be like full stack person who building the data engineering solutions and also communicate with stakeholders, transform your data in some meaningful insights and deliver through the dashboards and visualizations to the end users. It's actually a very good sign. So this is good job. Landscape management, I don't expect that they will pay well, and even we don't have the job. But obviously for data engineer, the salary grade will be higher than for data analyst. Absolute IT, it's another one. Big job descriptions, data analyst. What kind of data skills you need? Yeah, that's probably a good example of job description that's just completely nonsense, because for people who search for data analyst jobs, it means they have some kind technical skills, hard skills like SQL, Python, I don't know, BI tools, maybe some database, a bit of ETL, data run, whatever. And they expect to match their skills with the job description. And for example, I never search the jobs like data analyst. Instead, I will search Tableau or I will search Snowflake or Databricks too. I will search the job for the stack, because very often the stack correlates with the quality of the company. It's obviously if the company running on Databricks and Snowflake, they kind of like really forward moving company trying to use the recent technology. They really care about their data stack, and their maturity model of data organizations and data usage and maybe they have really good leadership team who understand the value of this. So that's why they're using the good tools. On the other hand, if you see something like SQL Server on premise and maybe mix of SQL Server and then Synapse, it's obviously they don't really care about things that's happening in maybe a really legacy stack. So this is not that good job. But anyway, so here we have the bunch of benefits, but where is they even not mention the SQL. Yeah, that's very bad job description. And I think we very often see this problem. Actually, I think from this video, the recruiters will really, really benefit, because what we see happening is a good example of like nonsense. Like you're trying to attract the people, like probably you want to attract very good people who good in their job, but you're not explaining what kind of people, data people you expect. You're just writing about everything else, but except like what they actually should do. So I just completely skip. But another thing I notice in New Zealand market, that number of applications for the data roles is low. You can compare like in States and Canada, it's hundreds and hundreds of applicants. Here I have like just 23 applications. So it means if you move to New Zealand, you can get the job. If you have good skills, you get the job. Even though like maybe I don't know, you're not able to get the jobs in Canada. Obviously, it would be very easy for you to get jobs in New Zealand. Another thing with tax calculator, I noticed that their taxes is lower than Canada taxes. I don't think that could be anything worse than Canadian taxes. And I think everyone who lives in Canada will agree with me. Like we have so many troubles in Canada, and our cost of living, especially in BC, is like crazy. Okay, let's see. ACB Bank, ASB Bank. So it's probably the big bank. I saw many of their positions. They ask a bit about SQL, and you see the only I care about this because the rest is more or less the same among all companies. SQL, of course, SQL. It's nice to have ETL. It means okay, you have dashboard in obviously Power BI, and I don't think they have Power BI and Tableau, but many companies they do mix of everything. So it means why data analyst needs to know the ETL. And I think it's really good competitive thing. Assuming you build the dashboard and some of the metrics, revenue, any kind of metrics, or maybe your portfolio loans numbers is off. So how you gonna check it? Yeah, from the next layer after the BI layer, after Tableau Power BI, where you have your data model, you can find the fact table the data is coming. Okay, you query the fact table with pure SQL and you see, yeah, the data is wrong. How you gonna check that the data is right? So, and this is, I think, the crucial skills for people who work with data analysts, of course, for data engineers as well. But you need to be able to decode, like starting from top to bottom, right? Working backwards from your fact table or even from the single metric in your BI dashboard to find out all the transformation that's happening. And for example, I like DBT in this area because DBT allows you to really beautifully document all the logic. Of course, if you put some documentation and testing in place, but just coming to this, so the data analyst needs to be able to using Lineage or build Lineage themselves to going through the transformations and jobs and everything. And unfortunately here, they didn't specify what kind of ETL tool they have. Is it an integration service? Because in New Zealand, everyone uses Microsoft Stack, or it's something else. Maybe it's the pure Python. I don't think the bank is using pure Python. It could be just Informatica, but it would be really helpful to know what exactly tools for ETL they're using. But the role of analyst to actually find where is the data coming from. Maybe the data is there's issue with data in transformations in pipeline, or maybe the data is coming broken from the source. And usually those are the questions that you need to ask before moving, before escalating the problems. And I think how you can say it's good analyst or bad, I think it's how much they own, like how analysts can find out themselves independently, dive deep to the problem before communicate with anyone else. I see the tellers do some kind of jobs. There many. I don't know what this means. Data analysts, for example, I use Telus as an internet provider in Canada. I don't know what they're doing there. but it doesn't look like it's some kind dashboards, whatever role. Senior Insights Analyst, a good naming, because by the way, the job of BI developer, job of data analyst actually deliver insights. And here, really nice that they put this, that they want to actually expecting that you will deliver insights or business recommendations. Back in the time that I work in Amazon as a data engineer, I frequently review the BI great matrix and data engineers great matrix. So the one thing I learned for the BI people who build the dashboards and reports, one thing they need if they want to be promoted, they will be measured by impact. And their impact is insights they deliver and the recommendation they provide to the business. So I think this is something you should consider to add in your resume, what kind of insights and how you help the business, like increase the revenue, decrease the profit, and blah, blah, blah. So that's important. So insights is the key phrase that everyone understands, especially the hiring manager, and especially if the hiring manager is non-technical person. Okay, what we have here? Okay, a bunch of insights. They're using SQL, R, Python, Tableau, Power BI, Google. Yeah, I think this is another a bit of. It's good to have to, but the challenge is which tool they use, because be expert in Tableau doesn't mean you're expert in Power BI DAX and vice versa. The tools are slightly different. And Google Looker Studio, this is probably the free version of Looker, the Google X Google Data Studio. So I don't know. Maybe this, I don't know what the company doing because I don't have time to read this. Maybe they're providing consulting, maybe they in-house, but also I think it's downside of this job description that it doesn't actually tell like which one tool they use or expect you to know each tool equally. Usually degree doesn't matter, years of experience doesn't matter, but the skills, the tools is really important. The values is good. Maybe if you have like interview rounds, then you need to practice that your behavioral interview questions really map their values. That's the best. Over 100 applicants. Interesting. This like quite many applicants, but usually I notice that this thing doesn't tell us anything. Maybe just number of views. Yeah, that's the thing. Maybe this job is really old. You see, it's IT service and consulting. Maybe it's just outstaffing company. I don't know. Oh, New Zealand police. Yeah, maybe they required you to have citizenship. Oh, to like data robot, click T-SQL. Interesting. T-SQL means usually it's SQL Server on premise. And of course, the police and government, they're really picky about the cloud, and usually they prefer to work with on-premise technologies. Okay, I think it's good enough with their jobs, or even HelloFresh. I know HelloFresh. Even this is my ex-manager from Amazon, who is now VP of Marketing Analytics, by the way. Really happy for him. But yeah, it's US-based company. I don't know what. Maybe they operate in New Zealand. Operations, business intelligence analysts. They probably very good in data. What they have here, Google Sheets and Excel. So it's more like business analyst role, less technical, but maybe good for start. As usually, we don't see how much money they offer. And one website that can help us to check the salaries is Glassdoor. I don't know, do they have any salaries for New Zealand? Maybe you have like some local things in New Zealand. Another job role that I like, BI developer. So it's very similar to data analyst, just have different naming. And we can check, do they have any kind of BI developers. We can see senior data engineer slash BI developer. It's probably data engineer who has some BI experience. 10 applicants. You see, one day 10 applicants. In Canada, it will be like, I don't know, 300 for senior data engineer, 300 applicants. Do we and they even have like email for hiring manager. Yeah, that's good. You see, it's cutting edge technology, Snowflake, DBT. So I agree. I don't agree that DBT is cutting edge technology, but I agree that's the most popular framework for your business logic transformations that you can convert in DBT and very quickly to learn. And if you build your projects right with good documentations using best practices on top of Snowflake, it means you can really fast build and deliver. You can add new team members if your team grow. So it has many benefits. So probably for you, it's the most important, this thing, right? If you have good knowledge of Snowflake and DBT. If no, you can just finish couple tutorials or maybe come to Surfalytics. We have a bunch of projects. Every week we're running projects on Snowflake and like every second project's about DBT or Snowflake. Why? Because DBT core is free and because Snowflake can provide your free trial account for 30 days and you can do it unlimited number of times if like just create new email. Like, thank you, Snowflake. Okay. Um, No salary, unfortunately. Yeah. Okay. Data analytics engineer. So data analytics engineer, you see, and I see more and more often, like in New Zealand, we have the job descriptions that are really short. And I'm very happy to see the short description because no bullshit. Like, and what we can see here, it's obviously like again, people bank like some kind of recruitment agency looking for contract entry level. I I don't know what they write in terms of entry level, but DBT Solutions Guru with entry level. Okay, guys, you sold it. But if you would say how much money you will pay, it would be easy. Kimball methodology, yeah, everyone needs to know dimensional modeling. What is slowly change dimension? What's the star schema? What's the alternative, for example, data vault? Really nice to have CI/CD, deployments, containers. Yeah, it's more like data engineer than data analytics. Analytics engineers usually the folks who work with DBT a lot. They know the Looker, and they know well like Git, CLI, and they work close with data engineer. Maybe they don't know how to collaborate with API or write the very good Python coding and the build infrastructure, but it really depends. So analytics engineer is usually like just complementary role. I don't recommend you to chase this kind of role. Maybe it's for you. You can consider this as a slightly bump from data analyst to engineer, starting from analytics engineer. But it means you need just, instead of BI developer here, you need to type DBT and search all the jobs where you require DBT. This would be analytics engineer. So for BI developer is not that friendly, unfortunately, or maybe fortunately. Another job is analytics engineer. What they expect you is an analytics engineer, the Snowflake, AWS Cloud, business intelligence, BI tools, SQL or Python, and Power BI is preferred. Of course, for each kind of the jobs, you should have the working visa or citizenship. And by the way, New Zealand is one of the countries among with Australia and Canada who has more or less good immigration practices. I know my friend Ivan, who is long time in New Zealand, and yeah, I know Ivan, if you will watch this, hi to you. And probably you can even make another video for us to tell more about like New Zealand market, what's the truth, and how my story is far from reality, or maybe it's not that far. Yeah, I think the BI developer is not that applicable for them, but now we can go to the data engineer. And there are a bunch of jobs for Department of Conservations. Yeah, if it's government, oh, it's Nelson, it's not, I don't know where, they search everywhere in Auckland, in Wellington. Data integration engineer, it's just the same as a data engineer. What they have, even a bit of AWS, Amazon Web Services. Of course, the modern market expectations that you proficient in cloud, obviously the same proficiency like Microsoft Office, Word, and Excel, right? You don't need to be expert in Excel or Microsoft Word, but you're able to make your work done. If you need to create your resume in the Word, or maybe to take your own home budgets in spreadsheets, right? You can do it. The same with the cloud provider. So you should be able to do the job done. You don't need to be expert or like solution architect. So even the Snowflake, oh guys, you're doing really good job in Department of Conservation. SQL Server, yeah, well, of course, everyone has like probably in New Zealand, everyone has their license of SQL Server with like their like citizenship of New Zealand. And we can see it's the next salary is 125,000. So I go back to my tax calculator and say 125,000. How much money it will give me? It will give me 7,500. Maybe you also need to contribute to your pension, maybe some other things that will charge you, but this is probably not bad. Definitely higher than data analyst. But honestly, my expectations for senior data engineer is something like 180. And maybe some companies that like has bigger budgets. So we can see with 100, you get like 10,000 net on hand. But I don't think the current rates for the mortgage and price for real estate, even with the salary, you would be probably not qualify for the house. But we'll come to this point later. Let's check the visa. Associate data engineer. Yeah, associate data engineer. The word associate is good for consultants, like with McKinsey, they usually use, or any other consulting companies. For data engineers, maybe it's the visa thing, but usually it's like data engineer, senior data engineer, sometimes the staff data engineer or principal data engineer. But here, what the expectations? SQL Server, of course, the SQL Server, T-SQL, integration service. It's on-premise ETL tool with drag and drop interface. It's part of Microsoft data stack and basically integrated with SQL Server. You could also highlight analysis services, for example, or reporting service. It's nice that they ask you to use the GitHub, but the PowerShell, it means you works on the Windows. They really care about the coding style, standards, and guidelines. It's very good. So they care about engineering excellence, and that's why in Surfalytics, I started from engineering excellence from the model 0, even before I start teaching what's analytics and what's the use cases there, what's the job roles. Just everyone should focus on their engineering excellence from the start, and then you will learn your hands-on skills, and also we'll learn about like soft skills, because soft skills is usually your blocker to grow your career. As soon as you land your first job, maybe after some time, you will face different issues with like promotions, and this is where your soft skills need to develop. So here they have a bit more information what they're using. They have like really native Microsoft Windows development stack with .NET, probably the C# with S3. Oh, where is it? Oh, yeah, I'm here. As they use a bit of AWS, but probably, yeah, the Visa is a huge company and maybe they have really good benefits. So for some people, the benefits is important. For me, I never care about the benefits. I never care about well, what's my bonus, what's my stock. The first thing I care is my cash, how much money I get every month, and especially right now, the market is not that on the grow mode. If it's not like Meta or Google or Nvidia, right? Then it's like typical company. You don't expect that they will perform super well, and then you need to. Let's move like Reserve Bank of New Zealand. Again, you see it's like 21 applicants for one day, so it's probably, and usually then people apply for the jobs. I think 50 or more percent of people, they even not applicable to work in New Zealand because they're not in New Zealand, or they don't have the work visa, or they don't have any kind of permanent residence. And some other people, they don't have data engineer experience. They're just applying everything. That's why you have really good chances in New Zealand. Maybe you want to immigrate from like Canada, US to Kiwi country and enjoying New Zealand. But probably it's worth to see how much it costs to fly back and forth. What we have here, Azure data stack. Yeah, probably all the banks and enterprise companies in New Zealand, they're running on Azure. Data pipelines in ETL, Python, C Sharp. I don't know what they're doing and what data engineer should do in Node.js or C Sharp. For example, back in the time when I was part of Xbox gaming team, we developed Azure Data Factory pipelines in C Sharp, and it was pipelines as a code, but honestly, I prefer do the same in Python versus in C Sharp because it's Microsoft. They doing everything in C Sharp, but I don't know what they're doing in Node.js. Maybe they build some custom like front end applications. No salary expectations, of course. What else we have? Mott MacDonald. Yeah, they looks like you see they just copy paste from each other most of the words and the sections of the job descriptions. But do you actually have the real job descriptions? Yeah, lots of benefits. Thank you. They're all. You see, like they didn't anything. It's pure like waste of I don't know their budget. I don't think it's for free, right? So guys, you're just wasting your hiring budget, and yeah. But honestly, in the current market, I think it doesn't matter. People will just apply everything blindly, and then they figure out is this job good or no. Because my advice to everyone, just apply everything. Then you get the offer, you will decide is this job for you or not. Maybe you get multiple offers and then you can start actual negotiation who will offer you more money, who has better stack, and what other benefits they have. Okay. Even junior data engineer, and Xero. Easy to use platform for small business. Okay. What they using? They pretty good stack. They're running on AWS. They're using Terraform infrastructure as the code. They host probably their DBT in Kubernetes. With Snowflake DBT Kubernetes, they probably should have something like Airflow. They're using AWS QuickSight as their BI. They looks like have some legacy MicroStrategy, and I don't think it's really deep into MicroStrategy. By the way, I published one book on MicroStrategy back in the time. CI/CD pipelines. I don't know what is TeamCity. Of course, you need to build pipelines, micro batching, stream, DevOps. Yeah, a bunch of everything, but overall is a good. Here we have one job description. Here we have slightly different. They mention AWS Lambda, Glue, Athena, and QuickSight. I'm curious how they collaborate with Glue, Athena, DBT, and Snowflake together, because you can use the Glue is the Spark, right? Athena is just your SQL engine on top of S3 that you can query the data, and maybe there is just stream pipeline that writing in S3 you can query the data, or you can use the Glue to and with Spark transform this data and push into Snowflake. Maybe use your external tables of Snowflake. There are a bunch of different ways. But anyway, this quite good job descriptions. We see like 72 applicants, but it's like 2 weeks. If you will apply on the first day, probably you will be one of the first. And it looks like the huge company, and maybe it's Australian company. And again, many of the jobs in New Zealand, they either on-site or hybrid, and this is downside. I think you should be more provide more flexibility for the folks. Serco Ltd, what they're using, DBA-like operation task, and really nice opening requirements for data engineer. I mean, in quotes, yeah, I wouldn't hire data engineers with DBA-like operational tasks, so I probably will skip this job. And then I have a bunch of T-SQL, PowerShell. Yeah, my verdict here is bad description. Of course, no money. Delta Insurance Group. So usually insurance company, because I used to work one in Canadian insurance company, they really conservative, the things they do. Yeah, they highlighted all kinds of keywords, but oh, they're using Azure Data Services, they're using AWS. I'm curious why they multi-cloud, where they moving from, they're using Redshift, RDS, S3, Data Lake, Synapse. They just, I don't know, they just put all kind of the words that I would probably use in the marketing purpose versus like real stuff to build. But I'm honestly, I'm curious why they're using Azure and AWS together. Of course, the hybrid mode. Um, On-site, I don't know where's the city. The Power BI. So the Power BI is a pure winner in New Zealand for all kinds of roles. Another thing we can see there are lots of requirements for the data engineer to know the BI tools, and fairly many jobs has requirements of like engineering excellence with CI/CD pipeline. And we didn't see any single job on Google Cloud, by the way. Fisher and Paykel. Oh, it's healthcare. Yeah. Fluency Python, SQL, C Sharp. Nothing really interesting here. But they mention containerized development. That's a good sign. But that's probably it. Data center operations engineer. Consult recruitment. I think we saw this in the past. Okay. And you see, it's actually just 2 pages of jobs. Yeah, it's like 2 things we saw, right? The first, not many applicants in New Zealand, and the second, not many jobs for the data engineers. But if they are, 50% of the jobs they like DBT and Snowflake. Yeah, I don't know why so few jobs we have here. And there are lots of recruitment company. Data engineer with Python, PySpark. Maybe they're using AWS Glue. And we didn't see any jobs with Databricks, by the way. So, and of course we never seen the job, the salary. Okay. Cloud data engineer. First time we see the word cloud before the data engineer in New Zealand. Everyone want to highlight the values, the company. Again, Power BI, those guys running on premise and they're running sub BW. So sub BW and on premise probably the worst use case scenario, like just scenario that I want to avoid at any cost, because the working with SAP is not that popular, and you basically spend a lot of time to learn the ecosystems, and then you locked to SAP and BW. It's not even relational databases, like a multi-dimensional cube similar to analysis services. And for all kinds of SAP integrations, they're using their own language, ABAP. In the past, ABAP consultants or sub-consultants, like they can charge a lot of money for their services. Right now, I would consider this a legacy. So SAP ERP system is legacy. I don't know if you don't have any other jobs, because my approach, like you get the offer and then you decide what to do, and you can easily skip it. Okay, that's and then I see already like Vancouver. Okay, now we're done with the jobs, and this is another website that we can search jobs in New Zealand. For example, if we'll type Snowflake, right? Usually how I approach, and see what kind, like, reporting analyst is another kind of job, like alternative for data analyst, reporting analyst, like the Power BI manager, data platform and architecture. Of course, there are a bit of manager jobs, data engineer with Snowflake and DBT and SQL. Oh, they're using expecting you to do some of streaming. And I mentioned before, like about reporting service. So someone's still using reporting service, and they're probably still using SQL Server. Yeah, looks like all backend in New Zealand running on all kinds of SQL servers, or sometimes it's SIP. oh, data developer. It's like unique name. DBA using. So I think people who publishing jobs, data developer, they completely don't know what they're searching for. Like they don't really understand the job market. And maybe my video will help them educate themselves. The business intelligence specialist. I like the word business intelligence, and I like because I used to work as a BI developer for like several years. Thank you for letting me know it's 40 hours per week, but maybe you will tell me how much I will get per hour, per week, per month. But your expectations, okay, of course, Microsoft BI tool set, integration service, reporting service, analysis service. Thank you, and a bit of C# and Python. Yeah, and then I don't know how they manage to mix Snowflake and dbt with integration service and reporting service together. It's like it's probably their own style. So data, we saw this, but this is just another thing that I told you in the past, because Indeed is an aggregation website, so it's aggregate the jobs from everything it can reach. But this is usually what you need to do. You create the alerts, and you get alerts from LinkedIn, you get alerts from Indeed, and then you can act as soon as you get alert. So now where is fun part? We can look to the how much the house costs. For example, for my family, like family of 5, we need house, right? We want the house. Probably the Auckland is the way to go. In New Zealand, let's choose the Auckland, the house. I mean, I will start from 800,000 and we'll see what we can get for this. And I think it's really hard to hear to navigate because they don't tell me how much it costs, like negotiation. Usually negotiation it's either market really bad or market really good. I don't know. In Canada, the market is really bad. So, but you still can see the price, and it means the price that you can start dropping the price. Here, I don't know, but I can see the things that I like at least. For example, this nice, I don't know, luxury estate. I think it costs like several millions. Yeah, that's probably it's like the market value like 3 million, and it's pretty big, right? We don't need such big place. Yeah, this nice family house is new one. Maybe we can find. Yeah, it's less than million. So it tells me about that the cost for real estate in New Zealand is reasonable, and it reminds me like the Canada maybe 8-10 years ago. Uh, the difference is that the salary in Canada still remains the same, but the real estate is like 3 times higher than it was in the past. So for this one, yeah, I can say that I like it, but in terms of maybe expectations for like 1 million, what you can get, like 3-bedroom house. Oh, it's even 5-bedroom house, so you can have your office. Maybe not bad. And maybe you have the room to actually go and search. Okay, but the challenge here, you need the down payment, and I assume you need 20% down payment, right? And it maybe will take time for you to collect down payment for this kind of real estate. This another one, maybe it's the water view. This little looks nice, this little house. You can see how much it cost. 1,000,001, and I don't know, it's like negotiates up or down. It doesn't tell, so we can see where is it. Oh, it's pretty far from Auckland, and I don't know if I want to choose the Auckland, like will it pricely change? So, but this is how you can go and check and find out, like, can you afford to buy real estate, assuming you're moving Auckland City. Let's choose this pool. Yeah, honestly, for this website, it's not good because, like, I don't know, they have nice pictures, but you need also need to find map view. Oh, let's open the map view. This would be easy for us. I don't know which area is the best. For example, this one. 5 beds, probably the water view. How much it cost? Oh, okay, water view costs 6 million. Yeah, it's a lot. It's about this one. Why you couldn't just put the prices? And I think for this, what I need to do, I need to go back and slightly modify the search condition. We have the minimum 800 and maybe the maximum 1.2 million. So, and then if I do map view, that will show me a realistic picture, what we can consider working in the data field. And you see that then closer to the downtown, that's probably the worst, the place. Then far from downtown, that it's probably the better. But honestly, for 1.2 million is not that sweet. Maybe I was too optimistic about this, about cost of real estate. Of course, you can afford to buy the house, but it's not that nice. But everyone decide for themselves. Maybe you can go with townhouse instead of the house, or maybe even the condo. So if you choose the condo in, if we can choose, okay, for example, we want the townhouse, right? And with the same price range. Usually the townhouse is cheaper. We even can buy, I can say that those townhouses very nice. This looks nice on the picture, but we don't see how it looks outside. With all my real estate experience, I can talk about appliances and everything to see. Yeah, but based on the restroom, this is like garage. And yeah, I don't know, it's like São Paulo, Brazil townhouse, not Auckland one. Anyway, yeah, good news, you can afford to buy something. The bad news is probably not that nice as you expect. The challenge is New Zealand, it's not that competitive. It's not that competitive, low number of the jobs, low salary ranges, and I don't think that you can go and easily jump from one company to another and increase like 50% rise, because in Canada is good. It has US with compensation. US itself is good for compensation, but New Zealand looks like not. But anyway, if anyone likes New Zealand, this you still can go and get decent life, good job in the data, and they're even using the modern tools. So that's it for me. Thank you for watching. If you like, subscribe and like. If you have more insights about New Zealand, just leave a comment. If you want to that we review your country, your city, yeah, you're welcome. Just mention in comment and we'll review in the future videos. Thank you.